Well, ladies and gentlemen, another cop shoots a black woman down in Tennessee. Brace for impact. This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount. Now, you know inflation is killing your retirement dead, right? And the real rate of inflation, it just won't let you keep up or make a profit. You need a different approach. Precious metals, not Robinhood or stocks that could crash and leave you losing money. An IRA or a 401k with Noble Gold is the answer. And this month, Noble Gold is gifting a genuine, rare Carson City minted Morgan silver dollar with every qualifying IRA or 401k. Find out more at www.noblegoldinvestments.com. That is www.noblegoldinvestments.com. Now, let's get back to the video. What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And guys, we got another one, man. We got another one. And I don't understand how this keeps happening. Now, unfortunately, lady down in Tennessee got shot by a police officer. Now, I saw the video cam. I'm going to let you see as much as I can without being too graphic and get my video demonetized. And, of course, watching the video cam and the camera from the car, you can only conclude what you see and come up with, your best observation of what happened, how it escalated, how it developed, how it could have been done differently, handled differently by both parties or whatever. But what I'm not going to do is what I think is going to happen, and I pray that it doesn't, which is, unfortunately, even if a large amount of minorities try their best to see this from a reasonable, rational standpoint, and they ask some questions like, well, why did the woman do this or that? The liberal media and the Democrats won't let them see it that way. They will refuse to allow them to step back and exclude all of the emotion out of it. And look at this from the perspective of how a reasonable person should respond in this particular situation. What the law says, what you know as a human living in America that you've witnessed time and time again in regards to when police officers are attempting to arrest you, you kind of can conclude there's certain behaviors that would either lower my chance of becoming a victim from a police shooting or increase it. So here we go, guys. So let me set the scene. Apparently this lady, black lady, she gets pulled over. What I can conclude from the conversation is that the police officer pulled over because whoever's car she's driving has multiple warrants. That's the first problem. But then it goes from there. So I'll let you see the first clip. And unfortunately, I have to cut the shooting part out. But nonetheless, you'll kind of figure it out after you watch it. So let's check it out.
Ma'am! Put the gun down! Put the gun down! 22 shots fired! Shots fired!
Now, right there off grip, you hear the police officer as he's tasing her, telling her, ma'am, put the gun down. Now, from that angle, you can't see the gun. One might conclude that, did the officer clearly see a gun? Well, as the video goes on, you're going to see that it really was a gun. Now, how can anyone conclude after watching this? The only thing, just with that little snippet, the only thing I could think of is if people only saw that part, they might conclude that, okay, why did the officer need the taser? How did it get to that point? Well, good thing that this man had a camera on, because we're about to see how it escalated and got to that particular point. So let's start from what appears to be the beginning of the stop. Now, understand, I'm not concluding anybody's guilt or innocence or any of those things. I'm only showing y'all this video footage so that it doesn't get, politicized. No one is giving a whole bunch of garbage about what they think happened or what the media tells them happened, because I watched Jake Tapper for months, a montage of this guy swearing up and down that Blake didn't have a knife on him. Come to find out he did, and left a whole bunch of black folks mad for nothing, thinking that the police just rode up on this dude, planted a knife on him or something, I don't know, and shot him for no reason, only to find out he himself confessed that he had a knife. Now imagine knowing that up front. How much that would have lessened the tension between police and minorities. But yet we have instigators that don't want that information out. They want you to jump and then look afterwards. But this time, we're going to look before we jump.
Bring your bag out here. Ma'am, stop going through it. You come step right back here. What did you take out of it?
Nothing. I was
Okay. All right, listen. Just come back here. I think we're getting off on the wrong foot, okay?
Because I'm really confused on why I'm getting
He's
stopped.
got several warrants.
Okay, that has nothing to do with me.
You don't know who's in the car.
Nobody's in our car.
Well, now I know that. However, now I'm going to address the other problems.
Okay, so you want my bag and all my belongings.
So just step right back here.
So there, at this point, we established that the police officer, he pulls over because whoever's car this is had several warrants. He asked her to step out. He's trying to be polite. He even said, ma'am, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. I don't sense any racism at this point. He didn't reference her being a woman, no sexism. No, he's calling her ma'am. He's being polite. He's not talking about race or anything. He's only dealing with why I pulled you over. And because I pulled you over and you're driving somebody's car with all these warrants, perhaps the officer need to, ask some more questions or do a little further investigation. Now, at this point, I think he's still being rather cordial. This is where I start saying to myself, make sure you understand conflict resolution. There's things you can do to escalate this mess, and then there's things you can do to kind of de-escalate it. A lot of it appears in how calm, confident you are, how compliant you are, how transparent you are, how polite you are versus, why are you flinching? Why are you getting all upset? Why are you mad? Obviously, whoever's car you borrowed didn't communicate to you that, hey, by the way, I got a whole bunch of warrants out for my arrest. But the officer further goes on and says, hey, now that we've addressed that, no one's in the car. Yeah, you're saying this don't belong to you, but I still have some things I need to address. So could you please step on over here? Now, at this point, I don't know what's going through her head. Maybe she's thinking, I might be able to get out of this. Maybe this is just, he going to snoop around and say, all right, man, get going. But let's see what happens after this.
Can I use the restroom?
And let you know it's being audio and video recorded,
That's
just to let you know.
Okay.
So it's just in here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, was there...
Well, about 5 minutes from you.
Is this?
Yes. It's probably another bag.
Now the plot thickens. So first things first, the cop asks you to step out the car. You're already kind of getting a little bit of an attitude, but not too much at this point. It's still manageable on her part. Yeah, she might be a little frustrated. And yet the cop's still trying to maintain his cordiality. But then, he goes on to search. Now she asks, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know if that's a procedure right in the middle of, maybe searching a car or something where you say, well, go ahead. Especially if you don't have any backup there. You don't have anyone to make sure that's what she's doing. For all he knows, she could go and say, I'm going into the bathroom. You see her running across the field somewhere. But nonetheless, I don't know if he let her go or not. All I know is it cuts back there where he pulls a substance out of her backpack. The plot thickens. At this point, I don't know what this substance is. I don't know if it belonged to her, somebody else. She did say, yeah, that's what it is. Now, she by now is probably saying, crap. This man done found some drugs. How am I going to explain this? I don't know. I don't know if that's just a simple case. I don't know if that's marijuana, cocaine, who knows. But whatever it is, now gives him a little more probable cause, I'm assuming, to go a little further and get into the bottom of all these things. So now the fun begins, unfortunately.
If
My lighter
Yeah, I'm not done with that though. Where's your lighter at?
in the car.
13,
I'll
it
get
says you're
it for you in a
about
second.
7 minutes away
I'll
from
get it for you in a
Trona,
second, okay?
to UA Drive
Oh,
over
right there
Church
in your-
and the Dollar General. Can I have you start from 23?
At this point, as he's saying, I'm not done searching his bag, she asked to go get a lighter. Now, this cop right now, you can tell he's not overly aggressive. I mean, the fact that he even allowed her to go into the car and grab a lighter, you know, usually I would think, just thinking out loud, I would be like, whoa, 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 don't open the door like that. Don't reach in. We don't know what you're reaching for. You could be reaching for a lighter or not. But apparently, you know, based on his observation and the assumption that her body language still seems cordial, he allowed that. I don't know if that was protocol or not, but he allowed it. So you can't say that he was trying to be a jerk at this point. He allowed her to do that as he says, whoa, 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 I'm not finished with the bag. Now, she appears still to be calm. He still appears to be calm. And then things heat up.
You scaring me.
Thank you.
Here, do me a favor, Trent.
No, hold on.
There it is. So he pulls another substance out of that bag. Whatever that substance was, apparently must have made him feel like he had to put handcuffs on her. Now, regardless, this is where I say, God, dog it. Why can't people use some common sense? Whatever drug that was, it's not worth what's about to take place here. I don't know if she had prior charges. I don't know if she's been convicted of something. The guy, there's no evidence that they radioed back to him and said the suspect is armed, dangerous, or has a rap sheet or whatever. All I know is what I see. And thus far, he pulled two things out of that backpack that appears to allow him or give him cause to arrest her. So now, this is where she feels like, you ain't going to arrest me, even though you found two substances in my backpack. Not to mention, I'm driving someone's car that has multiple arrest warrants or something like that out for him. Now, why couldn't this lady just say, okay, I'll settle this later. I'll have my lawyer handle it. Is it this serious that it results in what y'all are about to witness? Because see, it's not just what happens to her or the police officer. It's going to become what happens to our community, our society, you know, racial tension, police, confidence in the community, all of this stuff. Because now we've developed an atmosphere where folks automatically assume that the police are corrupt, crooked, and targeting black folks. And unfortunately, through propaganda, through many suggestions and gaslighting, for the purpose of politics, they have suspended the whole process of, finding evidence, a trial, all of that. So now we're leaving this up, and I'm sure, I pray it doesn't happen, but I'm sure the people that's going to be judging this are going to be people that watch the video and determine, man, she's black, she got shot by a white cop, let's act up. Versus let's wait and see all the details. So I'm just going to show you the details as of now, which should make someone say, that's enough evidence to make me not decide I'm going to go down there and tear up everything until I find out what really happened. That's backwards. So here we go, guys.
Don't put me in handcuffs. I haven't done anything wrong.
Ma'am.
No, don't put me
You're
in
about to get paid.
No!
Get down. Get down on the ground. Down on the ground.
Why? So now he finds two substances in the bag, the car, warrants, whoever owns it. And when he goes to bring out the cuffs, she takes off running. I didn't do nothing. Screaming, resisting arrest. How do you think this is going to play out? I mean, I cannot understand what is going through the minds of certain people when they are approached by the police, when the police, he goes through all his protocols. He gets to the point where I need to cuff you. And this is her response. I mean, do you think he's going to say, well, there's nothing I can do. She ran away from me, ran around the car a couple times and said, I ain't do nothing wrong. I mean, how do you think this is going to play out? When I was in education, dealing with young black men who were mad and aggressive to authority, because from the time they're young, many folks telling them, you ain't got to listen to them, man. Let me tell you something. These dudes, man. And they give them this anger, this attitude to just get mad just because someone in authority has the audacity to question them or request them to do something when they're actually wrong. I would open doors. Young men sitting there with the phone out whole time. Teachers, got her back turned, and I opened the door and said, excuse me, young man, why you got your phone out? Now, instead of saying, my fault, I shouldn't have had the phone out, it's, man, why you always tripping? Now I go from saying, all I wanted you to do is put the phone away so I can go back to my office, to now I'm going, what? Now it's my mission to get the phone. So when I ask you for the phone and you say, man, you ain't getting my phone, how do you think this is going to end? Do you think I'm going to say, well, I tried everything I can do? Asked him several times. He said I wasn't getting it, so I decided, darn it, I'm going to go back to my office and start my work and be mad that this guy wouldn't give me his phone. At the end of the day, this kid have to know that, dude, either you're going to give me the phone or you and the phone are going out this building. And yet, you would have dudes, I'd rather get kicked out of school for my phone. Now, I don't want your phone. I don't want the responsibility of guarding your phone, but I'm not going to let you violate the rules of the school that you absolutely know. So how do you think it's going to play out? Now, here's this lady running around the car talking about, I didn't do nothing. You ain't going to put me in handcuffs. How about you let the judge figure that out? How about you go ahead and comply? I've been arrested for things that I was not guilty of. One thing I didn't do is say, let me settle it right here with the officer. I'm going to prove to him I'm not guilty. So I'm going to go ahead and tussle, fight back, grab him in a headlock. I knew I had enough common sense and conflict resolution skills to know that's not going to end good for you, Kev. That is not going to end. Handle it the right way. But this is what she chose to do. And let's see what happens from here. Now, as you can see, the officer is going through a progression. She resisted arrest. He tased her, which I'm amazed. I don't know what is going on in the atmosphere. I don't want to become a conspiracy theorist. But why are all these folks, just for some reason, losing their common sense in regards to the police? I've been seeing a pattern that I cannot understand how these folks think that after watching video after video of them, resisting arrest and how the cops handled that. And showing that these cops did their best to tell you, don't do it. Stop. Put the gun. Look, is that a knife? Put that down. And then you see it escalate and it ends in someone being shot. And you duplicate that behavior. Not only duplicate it, I don't know what she's on to survive the amount of tasing that this dude is doing. She's still resisting arrest. I'm shocked. I've never, you know what? I take that back. I got tased, not by a taser, but one of them sticks with the electric shock touched me barely. And I was like, oh, but yet this dude is going in on her with that tase and she's still fighting back. And what happens next is it's sad. It really is. It's sad for both of these people in this particular situation. But like I said, my concern is the fallout from this. So brace yourselves. This is the moment. Now, I can't show, that stuff, but I'm going to try to show as much as I can so you can understand what took place.
Step out. Ma'am, put the gun down. Put the gun down.
Here we go. Now, from this angle, you can't see a gun. Okay, and I hope that the news is fair. I hope that they show both of these angles because I'm going to show both. I hope they don't just stop right there and assume, well, the lady says she didn't do nothing and she doesn't have a gun. So after that amount of tasing, where her body almost locked up, then her go-to, whatever she's trying to avoid, is telling her that, man, I might do a couple weeks or months or whatever for a drug charge or whatever. Therefore, I'm willing to reach and get a handgun and fire at the officer. Even if she didn't fire, the fact that she reached and got the handgun and he's telling her, put the gun down. How many people get that warning? I mean, when you see somebody reach and grab a gun, you don't know if you got time to say, put the gun down. So here he is giving multiple commands, put the gun down while still tasing her. And she chooses to do this.
23 shots fired! Shots fired!
2-4, 13 key back that code 3.
So even though I blacked out the gunshot part, it came back where you saw the officer laying on his back. Now, if he would have just, say, shot her, and let's just say we don't even see the other angle yet. If he would have shot her, I don't understand why he would fall backwards on his back and you know, the way he did. So apparently something took place to make him fall backwards, but you can also hear the fact that he's returning fire, or I don't know who shot first, but I do know this. I heard him say, put the gun down multiple times. I heard him say, ma'am, stop resisting. I saw him try to tase the lady. She fought through the tase, managed to grab something at this point. Something that made him think it was a gun. Something that made him try to still tase and tell her, put the gun down, leading to whatever she did or didn't do, caused him to fire. He falls backwards, and there he is laying on the ground. Shots fired, shots fired. Here is the reverse angle so you'll get a better understanding what just took place.
Ma'am! Put the gun down! Put the gun down!
There you go. Tasing. Put the gun down. She shoots him. He returns fire. Looks like some of her fire went into the door of the car. You saw stuff shoot up out the door. Knocked him backwards. He shoots her. Apparently, afterwards, he was rushed to emergency. And, you know, they had surgery. And apparently, he's going to be okay. But the lady, as you will see in a second, she manages to still back the car out and drive off. Apparently, she was hit multiple times. And I'm not sure how far she made it before, you know, she either passed away. I don't know how she died eventually. I don't even know where he shot her at. I know wherever she got hit, it didn't kill her instantly. And she had enough, you know, adrenaline or whatever to pull away. But what I do know is that this is one of those cases where you clearly see gunfire being exchanged. So now the question becomes, now what? I mean, is this going to result in chaos, in more violence, more anger? I hope not. I hope people are reasonable enough to see how this all unfolded and say, man, if that was me, if I was the cop and I'm going through that and I'm like, put the gun down. You know, would I feel like I did everything I could to make sure we dealt with this, you know, peacefully as possible. And she pushed me to the point where I couldn't. I mean, or are they going to look at this and say, obviously, the way she handled this was smart. The way she handled this was showing these white cops not to say things to us and pull us over no matter what we do, no matter what they find in our car, no matter whose car we're driving, whatever charges this person's looking at. We are excluded from being questioned, you know, detained, arrested, if they get probable cause. So now we just gonna wait and see how this is all going to play out. And the video concludes like such.
23 shots fired! Shots fired!
2-4, 13 key back that code 3.
I'm hit.
So, as you saw in the video, police officer was hit. She was hit several times. I don't know where he was hit, how many times he was hit. Obviously, her adrenaline or whatever gave her enough energy to back up and pull off. You know, it's sad that this had to go down this way. As this whole thing transpired, I was able to see multiple ways out of this, multiple conclusions based on simply having some social awareness, simply having a bit, just a small bit of conflict resolution. And now we're going to have to sit back and wait and see what happens. But if the history of the last 4 years has shown us anything, I'm sure there are a lot of people waiting to exploit this situation instead of stepping back and viewing this rationally, waiting for the outcome, waiting for the process to take place, waiting for evidence to come out. Like I said, There was clips that, you don't see all of it. You don't know what the substance was. There are a lot of things that need to be filled in. So I'm letting everybody know, including you too, that I don't have a conclusion yet. All I have is a series of events that I just saw on video that makes me conclude that this could have been handled way differently, especially by the young lady that was, detained. Because from what I can gather, the cop was very polite. I heard no overtone of condescending, tone in his voice. I didn't hear him mention anything about race and women, nothing that would give any of these social justice warriors or mad for nothing folks or even race hustlers the ability to latch onto something and conclude that this officer did all of this only because she was black or a lady or whatever. So let's just hope and pray that people have sober minds as they review this. Sorry to have to wake y'all up this morning to something like this, but I felt y'all need to brace yourselves for potential more shenanigans. But I do see what our police officers go through, and I do empathize. And for those that think I'm a sellout, don't act like I don't know how cops have been in the past with some people, including me, that ticked me off. I'm not saying cops are perfect. I'm not saying that they don't act a fool. You don't have bad cops sometimes. But what I am saying is that if you run into one, you are less likely to end up in her scenario if you calm down, get out of your feelings, use some rationale, use some common sense, and let the system handle it. Don't handle it on the streets, because now you give them an excuse that if it was a bad cop, now you gave him an excuse, which in this case, I'm not saying that because this guy looked like he handled it, sensibly. So God bless y'all. God bless America. And let's pray for our country. So we'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care. Check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. The link is below this video. If you click on it and put Kevin in the promo code, you'll get a 20% discount. And finally, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And if you'd like to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, there's links below this video to do that as well. Okay, God bless you and God bless America.